And they didn't even try to stop Lil Cam. Like everybody watched Lil Cam walk right past him. They even brushed shoulders with him. And they start running. And as soon as they go booking towards that parking lot, like nobody's trying to stop Cam. Like everybody just stuck and they don't know what to do because they freaking out. They see Quavo screaming and everything like that. So they just let Lil Cam run off and they all get in their cars. Like they could have called Lil Cam. Like Jay Prince Jr. and them and Jazz and them, they got Lil Cam's number. Like they know who he is. They know his whole everything, the face. They even know like exactly, who he be kicking it with and stuff. So they could have got a hold of him. They could have told him like, hey, Lil Cam, you have to come out and show yourself. Like, but that's not what happened. See, because they don't want to say anything. Like they don't want to. They know that it's everything is coming down to this, to the wire, and that they gonna get somebody for this. And the fact that all those people, like them girls who first told just to get the reward money, but purposely didn't want to say like, oh, it was this person, it was that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what's the point of them even talking and trying to actually say something if they're not even gonna say like the whole dang thing? And so that's why everyone that's like, they all know who Lil Cam is. It's all 40 of them people, right? And so when them 40 people jump out to them parking lot and they start getting in them Cadillac trucks, and it's like, Lil Cam, the Cadillac truck that he hopped into, like they know what it is. They know it's wrapped with the rims and all that stuff. So like they ain't even want to follow him or point directions or nothing like that. It's almost as if they like trying to basically keep like things on the low just for Lil Cam. Like who is Lil Cam for these people to basically keep him on the run and keep everything secret? Like I don't think he's no next hero or superhero or nothing like that. So it's like, why are they trying to save him? Why are they trying to like prolong the whole thing? While in Houston, everybody is still like, dang, I can't believe that these guys really try to run off like that after Takeoff situation. And it's like, okay, the dude who's beefing with Quavo too, like they should have shut that down way before. Like, why are you even beefing with people? You got millions of dollars. There should be nothing to beef about unless somebody cut you out of $1 million as well or something in that like nature. So if I just don't think that the dice game was the whole end all be all. There definitely was like saltiness and feelings and emotion brought into it from the beef that existed between Quavo, Lil Cam, and the dude with the yellow shirt. And basically like there was multiple people in MobTies who was feeling a certain type of way about Migos. So who knew the longer they hang around, the longer they linger with them, something was going to pop off. That's why they offered their security services. They said, I know y'all want to come down to Houston, but like y'all really will need us, So they knew it's people who actually had beef with Migos. And so they said it's on site next time they see him. That's why it happened the way it happened. Is because it was on site. Like that Lil Camp dude showed up and basically start to mouthing off on Quavo, and Takeoff was right there. Like why? Like trying to tell him. He tried to tell Quavo at the beginning of the night, do not argue with nobody. Don't do no arguments whatsoever. Because he said that the fact that these dudes think that they are security right now and that you get into an argument, man, these dudes could pop off on you. Takeoff tried to tell Quavo. He said, keep your cool, man. Keep your cool, cuzzo. And he basically warned him exactly what was going to happen. But Quavo didn't want to listen, man. His ego getting away. Somebody who just loves to argue, like that's like what they live for. That's what Quavo was doing, man. It's almost like he was a professional arguer over here trying to argue over the most pointless things, man. And so at the end of the day, those simple mistakes and the fact that it wasn't like the people who they were hanging with in MobTies who claimed that they were going to be security for them and they try to extort them out of 50,000 anyways. That's basically like where they went wrong. You can't trust nobody, especially if you think that you can't even trust security. You can't even trust like special forces and stuff like that have to hang around you. You always got to have somebody that watches the watchmen. Who's watching the guys that's watching you? You see what I'm saying? So when MobTies is over here watching Migos and Quavo and Takeoff and the manager Who's watching those guys to make sure that they don't slip up, that they don't get to tripping, or they don't start no problems? So it's like, unless you can handle all control of that situation, then anything can happen. And so that's why at the end of the day, you have to try to be in control of what you got going on, to where you don't got too many people involved in it, where you don't got to have too many people that need to watch the watchers. And so at that end of the day, it's like all these people were basically, they got a mind of their own. If they want to hit a lick, they hit a lick. And they got that group mentality. The group mentality is 40 of them outside that bowling alley. So when there's 40 people outside of somewhere and you one of them people in the crowd and somebody says something that you want to argue about, 9 times out of 10, you gonna argue and you gonna even say some extra stuff because you in a big group now. So you don't feel like you singled out and you have to watch your words. No, actually, they get the adrenaline rush because they with a big group of people. Man, I got Jay Prince Jr. with me and his little brother. So they start mouthing off crazy talk, trying to say this about Quavo, trying to say that about Takeoff. And then it's like, oh, snap. So because they in that big group mentality, they think they tougher than they really were. They think they bigger than they are. So what happens is that somebody takes it too far. So one of the dudes, like Lil Cam or like this person or that person, ends up pushing it to the limit and crossing the boundaries, crossing the line by pulling out his scrap. And basically, that's when everything went left. Like, you hear everything happening, and it's like, man, if only they would have had better control over that, to where they weren't hanging around a bunch of crazy dudes broke and being 40 deep outside of some place that's closed. They ain't got no business. The birthday party's over. It ain't even their birthday. They didn't even bring gifts for the guy. These are just people who like to be in the background. They want to hang around you to feel like basically they part of you or something, or they want to feed off your energy. These guys are just basically out here hanging around whoever they can that's getting money, and they just want to steal their energy. They're not contributing. They're not helping nothing. It's just that and then they'll take their ideas too and then run with it, act like it's theirs. So this is what's going on. And that's why these dudes is basically acting the way that they was acting, because this whole thing is connected, as far as them trying to be walking around like it's a big MobTies and acting like they the guys who run Houston and this and that. That's a bad way of doing business, man. You don't ever want to act like you have to do that, where you have to move in a group 50 deep like that. And these guys aren't even professional security. Like, the crazy thing is that these dudes get ran up on too. And they got beef with other people in Houston. Like, these guys can't even go to Dallas. They can't go to Charleston White's neighborhood or nothing like that, because everybody over there don't respect them like they do get respect in the Fifth Ward. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lot of people who have their own opinions, own ideas, their own ways that they move around. Not everybody thinks like there's one particular group in one particular neighborhood of a certain street in Houston. And if they go do something, that's not how things work in Texas. And you could just go and ask all the real OGs out there in Houston, and they'll tell you, all the OGs will tell you that this is not how we move. We are better than that. We don't need to take out migos. We don't need to argue with people. We don't need to play dice games. We get money like way bigger than that. And so that's why the whole thing got blown out of proportion, and everybody knows that at the end of the day, it should have never happened. Like, they should have been already out that whole closed bowling alley as soon as that birthday party was over. Right after the cake is cut and the candles get blown out, they were supposed to leave, just like how Jazz left. And when Jazz left, it's like, that's a sign. That's a sign saying the party's over. Because there's no point of hanging out at a birthday party when the person's birthday it is already left, already done for the night. They're in bed sleeping. That's a sign telling you should have got out of that party a long time ago, because you got to have known that something was going to happen. If the birthday dude leaves his own party, you don't want to be the guy left there and getting caught up when it gets ran up on. That's exactly what happens in these situations. They should have seen this coming from a mile away. And I'm surprised that they didn't really figure it out, man. I feel like Takeoff knew when he was trying to tell Quavo, let's go, let's go. But Quavo had to argue. He had to keep trying to get beat in the dice game. It was all rigged anyways. They had trick dice. So it's like the way that they roll it or the way the way the slant of the table is, and if it hits a certain bump, Quavo loses. So at the end of the day, man, they should have already been out there and done. Just another lesson for y'all to know, just know when to call it. You feel me? At the end of the day, subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below. Let me know where y'all from. Let me know if you're a fan of Migos. I'll catch you on the next one.